Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk to you about something that touches every single one of us. The goals we set, the dreams we chase, and the promises we make to ourselves. And let me tell you something up front, most goals fail. Yes, they do. But I'm not here to discourage you. I'm here to tell you why and what to do instead to turn failure into fuel. You see, most people don't fail because they're not talented enough, not smart enough, or not capable enough. They fail because their goals are too small, too vague, and too shallow. They fail because they set goals from a place of convenience, not conviction. Some people write down a goal like it's a grocery list. I want to lose weight, I want more money, I want a better job. But a wish is not a goal. A hope is not a strategy, and vague intentions don't move mountains. Here's the truth, most goals fail because they live on paper, not in your heart. If your goal doesn't wake you up in the morning, if it doesn't keep you up at night, if it doesn't stretch you beyond your comfort zone, then it's just an item on a piece of paper waiting to be forgotten. But when you tie your goals to your purpose, when you align them with who you are and who you want to become, that's when everything changes. Because goals without a why are powerless, but a goal with a powerful why can withstand rejection, failure, criticism, and setbacks. So what do you do instead? You stop chasing empty goals and start building meaningful ones. You stop asking, what do I want? And start asking, who do I need to become? See, the secret isn't in setting goals. The secret is in creating systems, habits, and a mindset that makes those goals inevitable. Success doesn't come from writing it down once a year. Success comes from daily discipline, from showing up when you don't feel like it, from doing what others are unwilling to do. So I challenge you today, don't just set goals, set commitments. Don't just dream big, live big. And remember, the world doesn't reward intentions, it rewards action. You have greatness within you, but it won't show up until you stop letting your goals fail and start letting your purpose lead. Thank you. Most people don't fail because they're incapable. They fail because the goals they set aren't built to last. Think about it. How many times have you heard someone say, I just want to be successful, or I want to be happy, or I want to make more money? Those aren't goals. Those are wishes wrapped in pretty words. They're vague, and vagueness kills momentum. If you don't know exactly where you're going, how will you ever know when you've arrived? A shallow goal is like planting a seed on concrete. You can water it, you can talk to it, you can hope for it, but it's not going to grow because it has no soil, no depth. People say, I want to lose weight, but they never define how much, by when, or why it even matters. So when the gym gets hard, when life gets busy, when temptation shows up, that shallow goal dries up. It was never anchored deep enough to survive the storms of life. And then there are the convenient goals, the ones that don't stretch us, don't scare us, don't require sacrifice. Convenient goals are dangerous because they trick you into thinking you're aiming high when you're really playing small. They sound good to others, but they don't ignite anything in you. They don't demand growth, and if a goal doesn't force you to grow, it will never transform your life. Convenient goals are often chosen because they fit neatly into our routines. They don't disrupt, they don't challenge, they don't pull us out of bed early or keep us up late. And the problem with that is simple: convenience never creates greatness. The person who chooses comfort over challenge will always wonder why they're stuck in the same place year after year. Now, let's be honest, we've all been there. We've all set goals we abandoned within weeks or even days, not because we didn't care, but because the goals didn't have weight. They didn't carry enough emotional significance. It's easy to quit something that doesn't matter deeply. That's why vague, shallow, and convenient goals fail over and over again. The truth is, clarity creates power. When you know exactly what you want, when it has deep meaning for you, and when it stretches you beyond your current limits, you ignite something inside yourself. That inner fire will push you when motivation fades, and it will remind you why you started when quitting looks tempting. So when most goals fail, it isn't a reflection of the person's potential. It's a reflection of how the goal was framed. Vague goals confuse the mind. Shallow goals don't touch the heart. Convenient goals don't stretch the spirit, and that's why they die before they ever have a chance to live. Too many people confuse wishing with goal setting. They sit back, close their eyes, and whisper to themselves, I hope things get better. But hope alone never built a business, never transformed a body, never healed a relationship, and never created a legacy. Hope is passive. It's waiting on luck, waiting on miracles, waiting for life to hand you something it has no obligation to give. A goal, on the other hand, is active. It demands clarity, structure, and responsibility. A goal says, I know what I want, I know why I want it, and I'm willing to pay the price to get it. That's the difference between wishful thinkers and goal-driven achievers. One leans back and waits for change. The other leans forward and becomes the change. When someone says, I wish I could lose weight, what they're really saying is, I'd like it if this problem went away without me doing the hard work. But when someone sets a goal, they declare, I will lose 20 pounds in the next 90 days by exercising 5 times a week, changing my diet, and holding myself accountable. See the difference? One is just a dream floating in the air, the other is a plan nailed down to reality. Hope is a beautiful thing. It gives us a glimpse of what's possible. But it cannot replace strategy. You cannot hope yourself into a new career. You cannot wish yourself into financial freedom. You cannot daydream yourself into greatness. You need a roadmap, you need milestones, you need daily habits that transform invisible desires into visible results. Let me put it this way. Hope is like standing at the bottom of a mountain, staring at the peak and saying, I hope one day I'll get there. But a real goal is strapping on your boots, grabbing your gear and taking the first step, then the second, then the third, until you climb your way to the top. The mountain doesn't care about your hope. It responds only to your effort. The reason so many people get frustrated with their lives is because they mistake wishing for working. They think wanting something badly is the same as preparing for it, planning for it, and executing on it. It's not. Wishing is an emotion. Goals require action. And the world doesn't pay you for emotions, it pays you for execution. So the next time you catch yourself saying, I wish or I hope, stop. Ask yourself, am I willing to build a strategy for this? Am I willing to do the work? Because until you move from hope to strategy, from wish to plan, you'll always be standing still, staring at the life you want, but never stepping into it. Writing down a goal is a good start, but it's not enough. A piece of paper can't pull you out of bed at 5 a.m. A notebook can't push you to keep going when you're tired, broke, or discouraged. The only thing that can carry you through those moments is passion, a deep burning desire inside your heart. If your goal is only written with ink but never etched into your soul, it will fade the moment pressure shows up. Think about it every January. Millions of people write down New Year's resolutions. By February, most of those pages are collecting dust. Why? Because the resolution existed in their planner, but not in their spirit. They wrote the words, but they never connected emotionally. And when life tested them, their paper wasn't strong enough to hold them accountable. The goals that survive are the ones that matter to you on a personal level. They are the ones that remind you of who you are and who you're becoming. A piece of paper can say, I want to run a marathon, but unless that marathon represents something deeper, like proving to yourself that you are stronger than your past, or showing your children what discipline looks like, that paper will not motivate you when your legs are burning on mile 18. It's easy to set surface level goals because they look good to others. I want a bigger house, a nicer car, a higher salary. But if that's not truly tied to your inner values, you'll lose interest quickly. The human heart doesn't stay motivated by appearances. It stays motivated by purpose. When your goal is tied to who you are at your core, quitting becomes much harder because giving up feels like betraying yourself. This is why two people can set the same goal, but only one succeeds. Both may write it down, but one attaches meaning to it while the other does not. The one with meaning sees obstacles as part of the journey. The one without meaning sees obstacles as a sign to stop. Goals without heart collapse at the first sign of resistance. Goals with heart push through because the person believes the goal is worth the pain. That's why it's not enough to ask yourself, what do I want? You also have to ask, why do I want it? And that why has to be strong enough to keep you moving when motivation is gone. If you don't connect your goals to your emotions, to your vision, to your values, they'll end up as words you once wrote but never lived. When your goal lives in your heart, it becomes more than a task, it becomes an identity. You stop saying, I want to lose weight. Instead, you start saying, I am the kind of person who takes care of my body. That shift is what makes the difference between fading goals and fulfilled goals. Paper can remind you, but only passion can sustain you. Every dream, every vision, every goal will eventually be tested. Life will push back. You'll face delays, disappointments, rejection, and moments where everything in you will whisper, maybe this isn't worth it. And here's the truth. If your why is weak, you'll quit. But if your why is strong, you'll endure. You'll keep moving, not because it's easy, but because you know deep down that it matters. A strong why is like fuel for your soul. It's what gets you back up when you've been knocked down. It's what keeps you grinding when nobody is watching. People without a why rely on motivation, and motivation runs out. But people with a why rely on purpose, and purpose never runs dry. That's why some individuals keep going long after others give up. Their why is bigger than their pain. Think about the single parent working 2 jobs, going to school at night, and still finding time to read to their kids before bed. Do you think they feel motivated every day? No. But their why, providing a better future for their children, pushes them past exhaustion. That why is stronger than the fatigue, stronger than the frustration, stronger than the setbacks. Your why gives meaning to the struggle. Without it, obstacles feel like stop signs. With it, obstacles feel like stepping stones. When you know why you're doing something, the how becomes bearable. You'll accept the long nights, the failures, the sacrifices, because you're not just chasing a goal, you're fighting for something that touches your heart. That's why people who chase goals for shallow reasons often fall away. If your why is just to impress your neighbors or prove something to people who don't even care about you, when adversity comes, you'll let it go. But if your why is rooted in love, in passion, in legacy, in contribution, there's nothing that can stop you. A storm can't stop you. A failure can't stop you. Even fear can't stop you, because your why is bigger than your fear. And here's the beautiful part. The stronger your why, the more creative and resilient you become. You'll find solutions where others see dead ends. You'll create opportunities where others see obstacles. Because your why tells your brain quitting is not an option. Find another way. That's how breakthroughs happen, through the persistence fueled by purpose. So when you feel tired, when you feel stuck, when you feel like giving up, don't just ask yourself, what's my goal? Ask yourself, what's my why? Because in the darkest moments, it won't be your plan that carries you, it will be your purpose. Most people set goals only around outcomes. I want to lose 20 pounds. I want to make 6 figures. Or I want to buy a house. And while there's nothing wrong with wanting those things, focusing only on the outcome is what causes most goals to collapse. Why? Because outcomes are fragile. They can be delayed. They can be interrupted. They can even be taken away. When your entire motivation is tied to a finish line, one setback can make you quit. Powerful goals, on the other hand, go deeper. They aren't just about what you want to achieve. They're about who you want to become in the process. Losing 20 pounds is an outcome. Becoming a disciplined, health-conscious person is an identity. Making 6 figures is an outcome. Becoming someone who adds massive value and leads with excellence is an identity. See the difference? The outcome is the fruit, but identity and purpose are the roots. And without strong roots, the tree falls. When you focus only on outcomes, you start asking shallow questions like, how long will this take? Or when will I see results? But when you focus on identity and purpose, you ask better questions. Who do I need to become to live this way every day? And what kind of person keeps showing up even when it's hard? Powerful goals shift your mindset from chasing results to embodying transformation. Empty goals make you chase happiness at the finish line, but powerful goals let you carry meaning through the entire journey. The person who says, I'll be happy when I finally get that promotion, is setting themselves up for misery because their joy is delayed. But the person who says, I'm becoming the kind of leader who earns respect, builds others, and masters my craft, is living with purpose every single day, whether the promotion comes tomorrow or 2 years from now. This is why identity-based goals last longer. If your only focus is losing 20 pounds, once you lose it, you'll stop the habits and gain it back. But if your focus is, I am a person who takes care of my body and honors my health, then even after the 20 pounds are gone, you'll keep living that identity. The outcome happens once, but identity lives forever. Purpose amplifies this even more. Purpose gives your identity a direction. If your goal is just to make more money, you'll stop once you hit the number. But if your goal is to provide for your family, build opportunities for others, or create impact in the world, that purpose keeps you striving, growing, and giving long after the outcome is achieved. Outcomes fade, but purpose keeps the fire alive. That's why the most successful people you'll ever meet rarely talk about what they're chasing. They talk about who they're becoming and why it matters. Because they understand an empty goal can give you a trophy, but a powerful goal can give you transformation. And transformation always outlives trophies. Most people spend their lives asking the wrong question. They wake up saying, what do I want? What can I get? What can I achieve? And while those questions may push you to set goals, they rarely change you. Because success is not about what you collect, it's about who you become in the process. If you only chase the what, you may get the prize but miss the transformation. The real power comes when you flip the question and start asking, who do I need to become to deserve the life I want? If your goal is to become financially free, the better question is, who must I become to handle money wisely, to create value, to attract opportunities? If your goal is to have a thriving relationship, the better question is, who must I become to love deeply, communicate honestly, and show up consistently? The right identity always produces the right results. Chasing the what is surface level. It's about appearances. It's about reaching a finish line. But focusing on the O digs deeper. It's about character, discipline, values, and habits. It's not just about landing the job. It's about becoming the kind of person who earns trust and delivers excellence. It's not just about finishing the race. It's about becoming the kind of person who doesn't quit when it hurts. This shift from what to O is life-changing because it forces you to look in the mirror. The truth is, you don't get in life what you want. You get what you are. If you want more, you must become more. If you want change, you must embody change. Your external world will always reflect your internal identity. That's why working on who is more powerful than chasing what. But when you ask, who do I need to become? You start to build habits that align with your vision. The person who wants to run a marathon doesn't just focus on crossing the finish line. They focus on becoming a runner, someone who laces up their shoes daily, rain or shine. The person who wants to build wealth doesn't just chase numbers. They become someone who studies, invests, and lives with discipline. Becoming shapes doing, and doing shapes having. This question also creates resilience. If your focus is only on what I want, failure feels devastating, like the end of the road. But if your focus is on who I'm becoming, then even when you fall short, you still win. Because you've grown, you've strengthened your identity, you've elevated your mindset. Failure doesn't define you, it refines you. So the next time you set a goal, don't just write down the outcome, write down the identity. Don't just say, I want to lose weight. Say, I want to become the kind of person who honors my body and values my health. Don't just say, I want to be successful. Say, I want to become a person of excellence, discipline, and impact. Because once you become the right person, the right results will chase you down. Most people believe success is built in a single moment of inspiration, like a resolution on New Year's Day or a motivational high after a seminar. They think change begins with a big declaration. This year will be different, but real success isn't born in moments, it's born in patterns. It's not what you do once that changes your life, it's what you do consistently. Resolutions fade, but systems sustain. Habits are the backbone of achievement. The person who decides to write a book doesn't finish it because of a burst of inspiration. They finish it because they committed to writing 1 page a day, even on the days they didn't feel like it. The person who builds wealth doesn't get there by one lucky paycheck. They get there by saving, investing, and learning over time. Habits create momentum, and momentum creates breakthroughs. Discipline is the bridge between goals and accomplishment. Without discipline, even the best plans collapse. Discipline says, I will show up whether I feel like it or not. Discipline doesn't negotiate with your emotions, it follows your commitments. And here's the truth. Successful people are not more motivated than others, they're just more disciplined. They've built systems that make success inevitable, even when motivation disappears. 1. Time resolutions are fragile because they depend on feelings, and feelings are inconsistent. One bad day, one missed workout, one moment of temptation, and the resolution shatters. But systems are different. A system is designed to pull you back on track. If your system is to wake up early and exercise at the same time every day, even if you miss one day, the system reminds you to come back the next. That's the power of structure. It keeps you grounded when life tries to pull you off balance. Think about it. If you plant a seed in the ground and water it once, nothing happens. But if you water it daily, give it sunlight, and nurture it consistently, eventually it grows into something strong and lasting. Your goals work the same way. And success isn't the result of occasional effort. It's the result of repeated effort, stacked day after day, until it becomes part of who you are. This is why average people stay average. They set resolutions but never build systems. They rely on hype, but hype doesn't survive hardship. Greatness requires rituals, routines, and habits that turn ordinary actions into extraordinary results. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, but it works. And the people who win are the ones who are willing to repeat the boring things until they become brilliant at them. So if you want to succeed, stop depending on yearly promises and start building daily practices. Don't just set the goal to run a marathon, set the habit of running every morning. Don't just promise to save money, build a system that automatically invests part of your income. Success doesn't live in resolutions. Success lives in discipline, systems, and habits that compound over time.